Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Build Life on Oak Hill Works. How are we all doing? I hope you are well. Drop down there, hit the like button if you haven't already. But look at me being a YouTube shill. Had to do it eventually, didn't I? Oh good, I'm glad the camera has chosen roughly nothing to focus on. That's good of it. So, with a much better wrist this week, we are going to go and get on with some of the details that I would have liked to have done before painting, really. James is well, that is good. Good evening, Heritage Railway Productions. How are you? I hope you are well. So, yes, I would ideally have liked to have drilled the handrail holes. Not necessarily attached the handrail knobs, but at least got the holes drilled before painting. But there was no way I was sitting there using a hand drill last week the way my wrist was. Oh, and they've opened the door of the Dragon capsule to let the astronauts out. Excellent. Imagine being the first people to ever try and enter the atmosphere in a certain type of spaceship, and also knowing when you get down here that you're going to have to wear a mask because the planet isn't safe. I'd rather stay up there. That's just me though. So yes, if we pop these bits out, and we can hope for some focus as I pop that top off. That's not going to focus on its own, is it? Very well. You know, I am indeed certainly much better than I was last time. Light. There we go. So we can see here there are slight indents for where the handrail knobs are supposed to be. We just need to put a drill bit through them. Not that I can see the other one that I know was there now. I've probably filled it with paint. And I've been painting all day today as well, so I'd ideally not like to do any painting, but I'm sure I'll probably have to paint this at some point. So yes, I already know from experience 0.7mm drill bit for the handrail knobs I have. I'm glad these prints line up with what's written, with the holes on them. It's almost like I buy cheap Chinese stuff and expect it to be good. Trust me, I don't actually expect it to be good when I buy cheap Chinese stuff. I'm buying it because it's cheap. Tell you what, it's really warm in here today. How is it for everyone else? Are you somewhere that's enjoying a bit of warm weather? Is it too warm? Or have you got air conditioning? Don't tell me if you've got air conditioning. You'll just make me jealous. And there we go, the holes for the handrails in the sides. Oh, there it is. You can see the other one, couldn't see the other one, see that one gone all the way through, so I thought I'd best double check. I've been hiding away from the heat in my air conditioned model railway shed. Lucky you. I have neither a shed nor air conditioning. Now I can see these holes, so we'll drill these ones. Ah, I can see the ones at the front that were hiding from me earlier now as well. just here. Good evening, Red. How are you? It's been a while since I have seen you at the stream. I hope you are well, good sir. Been boiling hot. Yeah, I know that feeling, J94. It has been absolutely roasting here. And I, of course, have been decorating again, so I've had to deal with way too much heat. I do not see holes for handrails on the front. I'm sure there must be one at the top because it's a continuous handrail. Don't mind heat in the winter, but in the summer I hate the heat. Yeah, it's the humidity that comes with it in the summer, isn't it? Smasheroo like a ring button. Very good, Corbs, and good evening. How are you? Hope you are well. You disapprove of DIY, Jade, but I've not hurt myself this week. Someone else doing it. No, I love a bit of DIY. Finally got my hallway repaired and back to a usable state. I'm just going to bring up my prototype picture quickly to check the smoke box. Because I'm sure it should have a handrail knob on the front. That's no good from that angle. It appears it does not. It does not indeed. Well, thank you, Gary. Definitely feeling better than I have been. Keeping motivated in all this weirdness is hard. It is very hard, isn't it, Red? So I've completely changed my house in the time of all this weirdness. I've not hurt myself this week. It's a bit like Simon Building saying no fatal accidents for the last 3 days. Yeah. But yes, so there is not one on the front. Let's use this bit. So the handrail is continuous, comes down either side, loops round the front, but with no handrail knob to hold it on, and back down the other side. Which is interesting. I thought there'd be one in the front, but no. Oh no, I'm having the stream being stupidly quiet issue again. Is that better, Alex, if I do that? I mean, I realistically can't do this for the whole stream because I literally have my face pressed into my pop filter. But does it help? Let me see if I can do something about it. I don't know if I can. Right, we are connected. If I do that, does it make a difference? because in theory that should make the microphone louder. But does it? That is the question. Because, yeah, I have played with the settings of the microphone on my Cool Sound Card app. Slightly louder on but does it? Okay, I mean, that is good. There is, I mean, it's definitely looking better on the Streamlabs screen for me than it has been, which is a start. How? One sec, still can't hear well. I have a solution for Alex. It's my end again. Even slightly louder on, but does it higher? Evening red. And good evening, Killian. How are you? I hope you are well. And Alex, go to Discord and check your DMs, but you can't hear me say that, so read Linny's message instead. Right, so that's the holes drilled that I wanted to drill before painting, now done after. I am not going to attach them yet, he says, wondering why he's not attaching them yet. We've got a couple of more bits we want to paint. I have not got my paints out. I am going to grab my paints because everything is away for a change. My paints are never away. Only 10 minutes late, you're surely allowed some latitude. Hello, Killian. So sound is fine at my end, apart from the fact that my right headphone isn't working. Well, that's no good, Red. I do not approve of not working headphones. My headphones work fine, but I don't use them for the live stream, funnily enough. Oh, you are well, Killian, that is good. I am well. Slight headache from too much gloss paint earlier, but other than that, I'm good. Let me go grab some paint. And do as the bot says, and remember to smash that like button if you haven't already. And whilst you're down there, make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell. And he's back with a pot of paints, including some white, the colour of the gloss that he currently hates. Line in brown, we'll be wanting that. And regular marsh umber, we'll be wanting that. Well, thank you, sort of missed on the stream, not been keeping track much. Also, to answer your question, Gary, got them as mum needs to be up early. Yep, fair enough. Being that I'm sat in my quote-unquote recording studio, I have a set of headphones here. They're Sony ones, they're really nice. And they were quite cheap. Cheap for the quality they give, anyway. You did miss some sweet coach conversions. I did some... In fact, you'd love them, Red. I did some four-wheelers. Made some ratio ones into Southeastern and Chatham. You see, James, the reason I have headphones like this is one of my ears is actually deformed and I can't wear earbuds. So I have to have proper headphones if I'm wearing them. So we are going to start. We are going to get some blue tack down because, as Alex says, blue tack. Those same headphones. Not sponsors. I mean, they are proper headphones, greater than earbuds. They are indeed. Yeah, I missed conversions, darn it. Yes, you did. They're on the layout. Hang on. Don't kick the camera. My workbench is going to get full up again, isn't it? Yes, Red. You missed the building of a South Eastern and Chatham four-wheel birdcage set. Out of ratio four-wheelers. And they are as convincing as they need to be. So you'll have to go back and re-watch all those ones. Waterproof headphones are better than earbuds. Wearing them in this heat is unbearable. It's not the best weather for it. That's why, I'm going to shake this up before sticking it down. That's why I have speakers. Because speakers are better than headphones. And I don't have anyone that I keep up and annoy if I use speakers. So we're going to make the white roof white. Groove Oak Hill Reed, speakers better than headphones. Very nice ratio four-wheeler kit. It's very nice, though I only managed to get one myself to run it on the KLR K's six-wheeler at the moment. Oh, very nice. I have no K's coaches other than my pair of Stroudleys. But I enjoyed building those, and I'd love to track down some of the other kits at some point, and also be able to make a full rake of Stroudleys for that matter. Although they'd be a really heavy rake. And there we go. Doesn't it look better already? Yes, yes it does. Aren't you glad I answered that for you? Conveniently, the bits we need to do on the sides are raised, so that makes them reasonably easy. So always use my speakers unless I'm alone or streaming. Don't want double game audio. Yeah, that's fair enough, Alex. I think you might have seen both of my RM web thread actually. I think I probably have, Red. And good evening, Ian. How are you? I hope you are well. Stroudley full break, you say? I didn't, but I did say something directed at you on Discord earlier. In the prototype discussion after Killian posted some pictures. No, I need that extension. It's helped a bit. Fans can just make out what is being said. Just make out what is being said is an improvement, Alex. Only issue with the K6 wheels, they are heavy. Pac-Man K3 has issues pulling it. Yeah, the Stroudley four-wheelers are unbelievably heavy. I know most of what I have would struggle to pull a rake of them, but it would be nice to have a matching rake. You're very well. Good to hear it, Ian. Good to hear it indeed. Indeed, I applied any better drawings and photos and also some text about them. It's the South Eastern and Chatham six-wheel push-pull set, Linny. Heavy coaches is why I went for card. Yeah, indeed, Linny. Indeed. Although then you've got the issue of weighting them all the same because they're too light. My ones of your Stroudleys are still in 2 parts waiting for some weight to be added. And yes, eventually I'll get round to it. So now I only have one set of not great drawings, 2 very grainy photos to work from, want to make a better job of them than I can from those. Fair enough. Fair enough. Regular marsh umber, because we need to do a second coat on the valances before we carry on any further. And whilst we're at it, we should probably think about the bits on here that need painting. The wheels, the underside of the boiler, all that good stuff. No such thing as too light when modelling early railways, until they start derailing on corners and points and every tiny bump. I think that's the right one. Oh no, don't touch the white bits. Been saying that all day after doing the woodwork in the hallway. I prefer the fact that I'm touching the white on this than the white in the hallway though. I've been very tempted by your card kits, Linny, though. You know my feelings on card kits, and I hate having to make the chassis. Don't really know how to do your chassis. I'd rather have the odd derailment than the loco barely pulling 4 coaches. Don't need more than 4 coaches if you model early enough. But yes, I know what you're saying. And I fully agree. There is a balance to be made between the weight on the weight for the pulling power and the derailment. I know words. Not necessarily the right ones in the right order, but I know words. I still haven't gone through my wheels to find the correct bogey wheels for this, because it's meant to have 12mm wheels. These are apparently not. It says in the instructions that you need to change them, so they must be wrong. But do I get round to these things? No, I don't. But let's give the underside of the boiler, just a bit up the side, some umber. I always like to overpaint when doing bits that join up. Because that way I know, even if there's a slight alignment issue, things will appear right, or righter. Oh no, it's falling out again. I must have made it shrink a bit too much. Mine are all slot together chassis, it's hard to get them wrong. It's true, Linny's chassis are very hard to get wrong. Even I get them right. That being said, I might need to give the K3 a more powerful motor. Mine seems a tad underpowered for a loco of its size. Fair enough. Always good to have the right amount of power. Much better it be too powerful than not powerful enough. There we go, now the wheels at least won't look too bad until I get round to replacing them. New Hornby Rocket, for example, can hardly pull a fruit fly. How many blue bottles can it pull? And now we attempt to remove the rods without damaging everything. Or anything for that matter. We'll probably damage everything. You've been warned. Oh, and without losing everything, that's another thing we've got to do. Hello, Great Northern. How are you? I hope you are well. So far so good, nothing broken, nothing lost. And thank you for the links there, Alex. What have we got? We have the Discord, we have the website, we have the merch, we have the donation link, we have the Patreon. I am very well, thank you. I am glad to hear you are good. We are removing the last bit of southern from this loco. Putting it into a proper livery. I much prefer spraying wheels, but when I'm doing that, I use blue tack to cover the tyre treads, and all my blue tack's being used at the moment to stop me knocking over paint tins. The bot already did Twitter. Fair enough, Alex. You could always do Facebook for it, because it hasn't done that. Gary, your D3 has to be your best model so far, even from watching painting has improved a lot. Thank you very much, Will. I'm glad to hear you think I'm improving. Because whilst I'm here to teach, if I am also improving, it shows that there is never a point where you should stop. I approve of improvement and approve of improvement. But well done, James. And there we go, that is that side done. So we're going to turn it round, get the other side wheels done. Please don't make me do Facebook. But I have a Facebook now. It's part of the things. I mean, your paint jobs have always looked nice. This one is factory crisp. Thank you very much. Let's hope it stays that way when I do the lining. You know, if people are comparing my finishes to the factory, that makes me very, very happy. Agreed, he's definitely a better painter than me. He can actually do lining halfway decently. Oh, but I use transfers for that. Red. Just because you've lost your mind doesn't mean you have to involve me. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm sure people would argue I still don't actually use Facebook. I think we have like 4 or 5 likes on the page. That's it. So that's those done. That means we need to remove the rod from this side. Lost your mind, where did you see it last? It's been a while, if I'm being honest. Facebook equals quantity, Discord and Twitter equals quality. Discord and Twitter are both definitely far better than Facebook. Glad American logos don't have complex lining. Yeah, I bet. The admin's brain is missing. No one's surprised. You have 10 checked earlier. Ah, thank you, Killian. I can't say I'm keeping a huge eye on it. I've got plans for what I want to do with the Facebook, but I've not had time to actually do anything yet. And none of those things is use it as a streaming platform before anyone gets any ideas. Because it does not seem like an optimal streaming platform. I mean, I realise I don't have any cat videos to upload to YouTube, but it still seems like a better platform for streaming than Facebook. So, how is everyone this evening? Do we have any of our... Oh, was it? Should probably try to remedy the cat video shortage. I'm not sure it'll fit in. There will be some cats featuring on the channel since you got me those kittens though, James. So there's always that. You do have a loco called Lion, so arguably that's a cat video. Ah, good point. Good point. Lion features in an upcoming video. It is already uploaded and scheduled. Not this week's video, but next week's, I think it is. I know it's definitely not this week. But yes, for a change I'm ahead on videos so I can get confused about what week a video is coming out. Cats fit in anywhere, they're good at fitting in. That's very true. Yes, you are quite right, James. Cats do generally fit in literally anywhere. I approve of lions. Excellent. To make them fit in, put a logo in the background. Hang on. There's some locos in the background. This is now my cat video. There we go. Cats are done. Let's get back to cleaning the brush. Even better, put a cat in the background of a model railway video, but I don't have a cat. Fair few lions about 5 minutes from my house. Always enjoy seeing them. That's quite cool. There are no lions near my house. Hello purring people. Fluffy but fierce is the description of my Tinder. Don't have a cat? I do not have a cat. I have all the joys of cat ownership without having to look after it or feed it with that one that comes round to visit every day. Currently have one of my cats sitting on me. Although my visiting cat has been getting itself in a couple of fights and it's got a big patch of fur missing on the back of its neck. Roman, you must get some interesting Tinder matches. I'm more interested in whether his missus knows he's got a Tinder profile or not. That is the perfect way of enjoying a cat. It's a pretty good way of enjoying a cat if you don't have to feed it or look after it. Naughty Fluffy, indeed. In fact, you can see some of the animals from the SVR as you go past. Ah, yes, of course. I forget there's one that close to you. That must be quite cool. I'm just looking at those steps and realising they also need another coat of paint in the colour that I've just cleaned off the brush. Cats are very generous, they share their affection very equitably. Tell that to the baby bird that was living in my garden. It did not find the cat generous. I was actually living in my roof, but it fell out, and that was very silly of it. The only lions near me at Barn Zoo, can't really go there at the moment. No. Yes, when I went I saw loads of elephants in a field. Driving a zoo. Said the elephants... Indeed, the elephants are closest to the lions. The lions are a bit further up. Fair enough. I mean, my closest zoo is a couple of hours drive. I think it has a safari park section on the same zoo. Yeah, it does. It has a zoo and a safari park there. But it's a couple of hours drive, so I've not been often. To hold back my opinions on cats, I don't want to offend people. Just remember that lions are cats and also a loco. And every time you think of a cat, think of that loco. You'll be fine. I hope you can hear me now as I give you this sage advice. Makes me think of the old circus train model you get with the giraffes that tucked under the bridge. Oh yes, the old Triang giraffe car. I'd love to see them rerun that. I wouldn't get one, but I'd love to see them rerun it. And the bot says, and not for the first time because I know it was brought up by James earlier, hydration is important. Just about means you at least heard my sage advice, Alex. That's good. That's good. So, the next thing we need to do is we need to put this brush away. This brush is too big. Sometimes it's the same mechanism as the sniper on the Battlespace models. I expect it was. It would be odd if they didn't reuse the mechanism a million times. Very un-Triang to not reuse it. Heading down to Lyme Regis the week after next and hopefully be able to take some pictures. The viaduct up the road from up Lyme and some other pictures of the remaining track bed. Oh, very nice. Very nice indeed. It's probably 5 or 6 broke a long time ago. I think most of them broke a long time ago, Red. You don't see the circus ones come up as often as things like the Battlespace sets. Very nice. Yes, indeed, very nice. Lining umber. This is where we totally mess up the nice factory-ish finish that was being complimented earlier. Look, Alex, blue tack. Oh, it feels good to be able to use this wrist again. I mean, in theory, I should be okay at this because I've got decent brushes. And I was genuinely being held back by my old brushes, and I knew I was, but money. Phil Parker approves of the giraffe car. Ah, but do we approve of Phil Parker? Reconnect. Ah, excellent. Reconnected. So, we dropped out there. I just put everything down when it dropped out because why would I carry on once I know it's dropped out? That would just be silly. I've never been to Lyme Regis whilst we're all talking about it. I was wearing the wrist brace at the start of the week. Yes, Corbs, it has come off quite early in the week because I've not needed it, thankfully. And I was not using a handsaw for my DIY this weekend. I was using a decent blooming recip saw and a circular saw. So any damage to my wrist would have been substantially greater had I have done it this weekend. Thankfully I didn't. All of my limbs are still attached. Can confirm, nice brushes are so much better to work with. See the figures I painted with the brushes you got me for my birthday. Indeed, aren't nice brushes are amazing. And I know that you appreciate things like that, Lenny, which is why when I saw them in your list, I thought, yes, those will be perfect. Ah, yes, that's coming out beautifully. My dad picked it up from car boot. Keep in mind, this was probably about 98.99. It's quite a while ago. Circle of Doom. Back again. Okay, now. Yes, Red, it's amazing what things you find in car boot sales. It is indeed. Did you just remember my many holidays there and how my first double O gauge at Picarama? Very nice. Half my fleet was car boot sales. Fair enough. And they were perfect. Thank you. Excellent. Glad to hear it. Went there in 2011. I think so. All these places I've never been that I probably should. I suppose if I went to Lyme Regis I'd have to take my Adams radial with me. Car. Can we get that to show up just how nicely that is lining in the edges? Sort of. Despite the fact I'm not a huge fan of the Adams radials, I've always liked Lyme Regis branch since having it in MSTS many moons ago. See, now you'd think that would make you want to have an Adams radial to run with it as well if you liked the branch. Lovely paint. Yeah, it's going well. I'm very happy with it. This is the hardest side. Ah, but I'm very happy with how that's come out. I've not got the foot plate at all. Blimey, did not expect that. Fair nowadays, we just go back and forth from my mum's holiday flat in Corfu. I'd do the same if I were you, Red. Remember to paint the buffer beam, the bottom of the body and the backs of the buffer beams in black. Yes, of course. At some point. Which Adam radials are good in double O gauge? The Hornby one is the better one, J94. I really like the Adams radial. Unfortunately, can't find much excuse to get one. Get one because you like it, Red. That is the best excuse. Isn't much difference between TJ and Ford. I hear very good things about Oxford. Okay, I have the Oxford one. It's a very nice model. Don't get me wrong. But the Hornby one is the better of the two. For people that appreciate good hand-painted, hand-lined engines, Chris Cox currently has one of the old Tallinn Dapple Terriers he was part way through doing listed on eBay. 40 quid, buy it now. All painted beautifully in improved engine green, just needs a name and a number. I was tempted earlier, but I didn't. I resisted. I know you're all shocked by that. Wise advice, well said. It's honestly a complete coincidence that my favourite locomotive are the Adams Radial and the line they ended up working on. It's where I spent most of my holidays when I was younger. Interesting coincidence. I'd tie the two together personally, but fair enough. So they're so similar. Go for whichever you can find cheaper. You have me 3D modelling, darn you. Excellent. Glad to hear it. 3D modelling is good. I am shook. I was waiting for comments of who are you and what have you done with Gary, actually. I'm not sure, but I think Hornby may have updated theirs so the radial truck pivots up and down, but I'm not sure. No idea. Don't they, Esther, Gary? The only reason I resisted is because I actually bought something else from Chris Cox yesterday morning. Most of which I'm going to sell once it arrives. It was a job lot, I had no choice but to buy it all. And that is a bulk load of Skinley drawings. So I'm going to keep all the Brighton ones at least, to use as decoration rather than to use as drawings. But there's some Midland stuff in there, there's a lot of Great Western stuff in there, there's some Great Eastern stuff in there. And I think I shall just pass it all on for cost price once it arrives. But there was a lot of Brighton stuff in there. And I plan on using them to decorate round the workbench. Just surprised, I thought you were going for the full fleet of 50. I am going for the full fleet of 50. Ooh, I hope friends get first dibs. Friends will indeed get first dibs. But yeah, there is a lot of interesting stuff in there. So I just thought I'd best buy it whilst I could. Well, the MG&R had a loco which was basically an Adams radio converted to a Tender 440 made by Bayer IRC, dibs on whatever is left. Yeah, Adams designs and Bayer designs were very, very similar. One of them copied the other, I believe. And I believe it was Bayer copying the LSW. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was. I much prefer this livery once the lining starts to go on. Like this bit of lining, once you start boxing it in. It picks it out wonderfully. My Fusion 360 reset itself. Boo, that's no good. Absolutely fantastic. That odd 440 I got from Hatton's was made by using radial, very similar to the Bayer ones. Oh, I forgot about that 440. You still got that one, or did that one go? I completely forgot about that. Wouldn't surprise me. Adam's very good at designing smart looking locos. He was indeed. Lost my old B&O coach. Oh no. Kind of bad, so I need to make a new one, but better. That sucks that you've lost that though. Not sure about the loco you mean, but interesting. Anyone see the lovely work in progress IEG B1 and D1 on Facebook? I did. Don't they look fantastic? It made me want to get my Southern Green B1 out and start painting it. But I want to actually get like the name and number plates for it and stuff first. You've still got it. Good. Good, good, good. It's too shiny. I assure you the lining is there and it looks a lot better for it. And now I have the paintbrush out of my mouth so I can talk again. The place to get photos of it red, or for anything for Alex to upload for you, would be to join my Discord server, because I don't believe you're on there, are you? since Alex doesn't use RM Web anymore. Red Hattons had a pair of RTR Bash, Adams Bayer style 4 some emojis. Hornby or Oxford deals with LSWR 700 tenders. I bought one of them, and it was absolutely fantastic. I remember seeing them in the tweet and them being gone like 5 minutes later. And yes, I'm only around on Discord these days. Good evening, Thomas. How are you today? I hope you are well. And there is the Discord link. Been meaning to for a while, just not gotten round to it. Well, there's the link. Get on there, Red. Because my Discord is an amazing community. I don't want to sound big-headed or anything, because, well, I don't see why I should sound big-headed. I don't make the community amazing. You wonderful people make the community amazing. But it is definitely the best community on the internet. Right, cheers. How the devil are you, sir? I am very well, thank you. A nicely recovered wrist, so I decided to have a stream where I'm not doing loads of painting. As you can see, that went really, really well. But it is actually going really well. I'm really happy with how this is coming out. Doing an 1868 CP Railroad Pake, also AWW. Ooh, very nice. I have a Canadian Pacific loco. No, I don't know what class it is. I'm sure someone will ask. Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't know, it's that I can't remember right now. Be clear on that. Canadian Pacific work. Oh, Central Pacific. Can work land up north. Pay cards were kind of generic. Fair enough. Red, I joined a few weeks ago and I've really enjoyed it being part of the community. Both CPs are good. Only foreign locos I have are broken Fleischmann 040T and a UF 080 I turned into a Baldwin import. Oh, very nice. And thank you for the nice words on the community there, Great Northern. I'm glad you are enjoying being a part of it. A wild red gem alchemist appeared on the Discord. Why? Is my watch telling me that? That's the sort of message I was hoping to see. See, now that you're on there, Red, you can show off your lovely Oak Hill model railway wagon that you've got. One of a kind, that is. I very much intend for it to stay one of a kind for quite some time. Probably forever. I mean, his number will certainly be unique, but I've got no plans on making another Oak Hill model railway wagon at this moment in time. Night, Becca. Thanks for popping by. Great to have you here, as always. Got stuck to my ruler there. That was silly. I can totally see why you'd be falling asleep whilst I do this, so don't worry. It is fine. That's better. Probably would be anyway, as the works number relates to when the giveaway was. Yeah, but I mean, that number will definitely stay unique. So, I'd like to remind everyone, hydration is important. And I'd also like to ask what you are all up to this evening whilst watching. It is 10 past 10 and I am curious. What projects do we have on the go? Be they virtual, physical or gaming, or anything else for that matter. Another couple of stud and workmen for me with some CAD work going on in the background. Ah, excellent. Thanks anyway, got to go. Got working tomorrow. See you all soon and probably chat to you all tomorrow on the Discord. Good night, Red. It will be great to have you on the Discord. Speak to you then. Alright, peace out, Red. Good night, Red. Just about to finalise Trialist and Stroudley lettering and lining transfers. Oh, excellent, Ian. That is music to my ears. Because, of course, your Stroudley lettering and lining is going to be significantly better than anything I've done myself. And I cannot wait to have some. And there is a donation from Simon. Thank you very much. That is greatly appreciated. It really does mean a lot and helps out the channel hugely. donations like that do of course mean I can buy more projects to be working on. One day I would love for the channel to be in a position that I can buy projects without them needing to be something I want to justify me spending money on them. So that I can have people say, I'd like to see you build this, and I can say, sure, I'll do that. Painting figures, I'm off to bed now. Okay, good night, Paderborn. Good to have you here as always. Statham figures are lovely, Linny. They are fantastic, aren't they, Ian? If AutoCAD was open. Stay safe. Thank you for the donation. American Planet is on the table tonight. Very nice. Very nice indeed. I want one. I want one very much. I am making another route on Train Simulator called Lines Around Eastbourne. Ah, interesting. Ooh, I was fitting passengers in Engage DMU. All right, there's a link to the Patreon. Well timed, bot. Well timed. Currently working on a ratio coach kit, making a workman's coach. Excellent. To get that figure painted a month or two ago, one of the figures came out looking uncannily like Donald Trump. Brilliant. This afternoon I put him in the first class compartment and slow train to Banbury. Seemed fitting. Excellent. What era is said route Heritage Railway Productions? Yes, I was actually just about, now that I'm caught up with chat, I was just about to ask for more details of the route. Because, of course, that town that lies directly over, and in fact most of is on the west side of the Bourne River, is where I come from originally. It is not where I live now, but it is where I come from originally. So it always piques my interest hearing it said. I lived on the east side of the Bourne River, so I was at least in the right place, even if most of the town isn't. And a donation from Ian McCormack. Thank you very much, Ian. That is greatly appreciated. I think that's the first time I have ever had 2 donations in a single stream. One day the channel will pay for itself. Or at least for some of the things I have to buy to keep it running. No, it won't. And I don't expect it to. As I've said before, I run this channel for fun, not to make money. The money just helps me run it. the east side better than the west side. And a donation from Linny. My God, they are all coming in tonight. Thank you very much. Wow. You don't get to see the smile on my face, but it's quite big. Thank you so much. It really is appreciated, everyone. I'm going to go back to trying to catch up with the chat now. Hang on. It scrolled off the page past me. Is the east side better than the west side? Yes, definitely. The west side is the town centre. I remember visiting Bournemouth when I was a nipper and taking the train. Kitten gifts. It's going to be somewhere between 1819, 1923 or 1567. Oh, excellent. Interesting. I needed the kittens. Steam era. Excellent. We need more steam era southern routes. Kittens are hidden. And donation. Right, I'm off. See you again sometimes. Cheers in. Cheers. Thank you for coming, Ian. Good night. It has been great to have you here. And lots more good night, Ians. There we go. I am caught up with the chat again. If I move this up like this, and this is literally why I've got it on a boom, so I can do these things and you can see what I'm doing. Makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, that and because of the static tripod I had was a bit rubbish, wasn't it? Who remembers the days when I had a static camera that sat off in that corner of the workbench? Those are the real OGs. It's a very fine painting. Thank you very much. It is. I mean, we're done with the lining painting. Though I've somehow got oh no, that's just bits stuck to it. I thought I'd got white paint all over there. I haven't. There's a couple of bits that could use with touching up though. But that's fine. I can do that. Look, there we go. I think this side needs bringing down a bit on the tank top. Oh, I can't read that one. It's not come up on my feed yet. I saw it, but I couldn't read it. There it is. Javier pledged via Patreon. Thank you very much, Javier. That is very much appreciated. That really does mean a lot. That is the real way to drive in the channel towards self-sufficiency. Yes, James, we need all the Javier links right now. My opinion is not for sale, but since Javier has just signed up to the Patreon, I would like you to know that Javier's Shapeways shop is amazing, and he's an incredible 3D artist, and you should definitely go and buy stuff. Nostalgia of the static camera. See, James the real OG. Do you remember the action film-like sequence when you only had enough battery to finish the stream? No, actually, that I did not have enough battery to finish the stream. It was in the last couple of minutes it started charging again, didn't it? Oh, that was amazing. Remember him starting to Stradley back then. Do I get seniors discount? Of course you do. You can all have a 20% discount on the price of watching the stream. That's what you can have, Alex. Good evening, Alexander. Do not worry about being late. Good to have you here. I think the Downbusters thing was playing in my head in the last 10 minutes of that stream. Ah, that was great. And that's a great theme to go with it. Right, hang on a second, since we're getting nostalgic. The brake van that started it all. Still with us, still sat on the layout. This has not been off Oak Hill since it was finished, other than to come over onto the workbench to be looked at. That's all we need, another Alex. How many are we up to now? I think that only makes 432 of you. Splendid brake van it is too. It is one of my favourites. On its Hornby chassis. We'll keep it this way round because the footboard hasn't fallen off on this side. But yeah, the brake van that started it all. With its tiny little dots on the tear number. Because I even did the dots between the tear number then. But yeah, this has only been off the layout to come to the workbench since those streams. Gah, good times were had by all. Proof of tiny little dots. Do you remember how many times it... Do you not do the dots on the tear numbers anymore? I do not. Do you not remember? It took me so many tries to get them on there. I think I was using about 4 dots per dot on the brake van. I could not manage it, and with a bit of weathering, will you see them? I'm not convinced you will. Those are probably okay to have the rods put back on now, which means we don't lose anything. And I approve of not losing anything. This is the outside. The idea of a dot per dot ratio. Dot for dot, right? Wrong live stream. Oh. Those were the good old days when you could really see everything I was doing, but only by proxy of because you couldn't see anything I was doing because you were so far away. I mean, I don't even have to keep my tool bench, my tool pile as tidy anymore. I mean, I still do, but I don't have to because you can't see it anymore. There is the bot saying, remember kids, hydration is important. Something I said in that first live stream because I had no idea what to say when I needed a drink. And I didn't just want to say, hang on while I have a drink. So I said, remember kids, hydration is important. I had never said it before. Whereas I do actually now say it in real life away from the live streams. I'm sure you'd all be disappointed if I didn't. And there we are. That is all the chassis needs doing to it. Joys of not having the camera eyes just mute when I had a drink. No one would ever know. No one ever knew when you were having a drink. Hold up. Oh, I've broken a wire. I'd best fix that at some point because otherwise I'm going to try and make this go and be like, why won't you go? When life imitates art. Well, I'm not sure I'd call this art. But yes. I forgot to put the cab in. Let's put the cab in. There we go. Isn't she looking pretty now? Looks like a motor wire broken. Yeah, I think it's one of the pickup wires. So it definitely won't go anywhere without it. Railway modelling is a form of art, no doubt. Railway modelling can be art, definitely. I'm not sure I consider mine art. Anything creative can be considered art. Quite D3tastic, looking excellent. Thank you both. Let's pop her back and get the camera back somewhere. Because she still needs a crew. Some of you will remember I started on a crew. Others won't. And that's just the way life is. People don't remember things sometimes. You have to deal with it. Teeny people, I approve of teeny people. I see they all have all their heads and hands. All their heads and limbs. That's a good start. It is. None of them have fallen off. Something to look out for in my video coming next week, which features Lion, is the fact that the vicar does not have a lower arm. It has fallen off. I have lost it. I have not got round to replacing it. Right, I'm going to call it a night, I'm afraid. Got work in the morning for the first time in many months. Good night all. Good night, Linny, and good luck going back to work. That is absolutely fantastic. Oh, I'm really glad to hear that you've got some. You can go back to work. So enjoy. Proof of heads not falling off. As do I. We're going to see how well my flesh paint is working now. Again, with the tiny brush, that is not very well. Oh no, maybe it's better than I thought. It's just the top was a bit watery. That's all. Where's my cloth? There we go. And so our crew get to look a little less like zombies. I'm sure they will approve of looking a bit less like zombies. I'll go all the way around and cover all his hair. Because then when I paint his hair later, his neck will be covered. He is, of course, our driver. I approve of non-zombie crew. I'm glad to hear it. Giving them some colour to their skin definitely makes them look a lot more alive. But yes, because so many optional arms for poses are included with these kits, I do actually have in my drawer of, oh yes, ideally a drawer of scratch building materials, I have a bag full of arms, so at some point I will get Thunderbolt out and I will cut off the top half of the Vickers arm and replace the whole arm with a Staden one, and it will look much better for it. But until then he just has to live with only having half an arm. Equal zombie rights? No. I do not approve of equal zombie rights. Approve of arm bags. They're good type of bags. Zombie graveyard with arms coming out of the ground. Oh, I really want to do that now. Tried to paint double O Lenin for my A-level Russian history homework last year. Very tedious job. God. I don't know if I could ever paint a specific person. I've done an okay job with Thunderbolt's crew. But only because you already know who they are before seeing them. And you think, oh yeah, that looks like them. Only former zombie engine men. Oh, I do absolutely love that idea. For those that don't know, I'm a big fan of zombie fiction. So That is an idea I absolutely love. Oh, I need to find my black acrylic. Which is a right pain because I've got so many enamel paints that I have to keep them stored on top of my acrylics. And I see no black. That's not good, I must have run out. I mean, technically I could use enamel for his shoes. But I'd much rather use acrylic, it's what I normally use when doing people. Big fan of zombie fiction, yes, opposes zombie rights, the hypocrisy. Only because I see how that goes for everyone. You read enough Walking Dead comics, you know how the zombie apocalypse ends. You don't vote for equal rights for zombies. Right, we're going to have to do the black in enamel, so obviously it will take slightly longer to go off. Not ideal, but we'll live with it. I've got no white either, which is more irritating. Because of course my driver needs his hair in white and his big bushy beard. Because are you even an engine driver if you don't have a big bushy beard? And by proxy, is everyone with a big bushy beard an engine driver? Mr. Mole, you are banned from answering that question. There we go, some black shoes. One might be a mid-20th century engine driver. My great-great-grandfather was a signalman. Yes, indeed. I remember you mentioning about your great-great-grandfather being a signalman. And no, I don't think it's possible to actually be a real engine driver without a big bushy beard. Whatever part of whatever century. He had a big bushy moustache. Excellent. Excellent. My fireman has a sort of small moustache. He's not been promoted to big bushy beard yet. And there we go. That is the black done. Does he have to grow sideburns when he becomes a past fireman? He does indeed. He does indeed. Tell you what, these little XGR E4s really get up and go. Excellent. We like locos that do that. I wish I could do the voice to do that line justice, Killian. I really do. Going to say that, but Gary banned me from speaking. I did not ban you from speaking. I said you were not allowed to answer the question about whether having a big bushy beard makes you an engine driver. And you know why I banned you from answering that question. Hydration's important, and my hydration vessel is empty. It's not so empty anymore. Oh dear, the top of that is looking absolutely filthy. I think I touched it too much with my fingers whilst it was still wet. I think that needs touching up. And by touching up, I mean a new coat all over. Whoops. I'll have to play this bit of the stream back to the kids tomorrow, after I've been telling them not to touch all the white bits in the hallway all day. So this is why you don't touch white paint when it's wet. Look at how filthy it got. Also your hands, because it's gloss. I mean, this isn't, but the hallway is. And there we are. Much better. People think GR locos couldn't deal with heels. Tiny little E4 laughs at them. I laugh in the face of heels. There we go, clean brush. That's what we like. And yes, you see all the flesh tones on these are now dry enough that we can paint over them. I have no acrylic white. I know I've got no white because it got naff and I forgot to replace it. And I actually remember I used the last of my black to make a wash. I now have a massive big bottle of black wash. So my black and white have to come out of the enamel pot at the moment. So this driver, who's just received some colour and got very happy about receiving some colour, is now even happier to have it all covered up. Now he needs a white shirt, and the reason he needs a white shirt is because he works for that slave driving London, Brighton and South Coast who make all their staff turn up in clean shirts. Okay, he works a bit later than Stroudley's era, but that was actually a policy under Stroudley. Imagine being a steam loco driver or fireman and having to keep your shirt white. And that's all he wants, is that bit of his shirt. That would be mostly covered over by his tie, which will be red. Because of course, being on a footplate does not get you out of wearing a tie. When the old XNER 440 became too old to haul over the Stanmore route, very hilly, they tried different types of 060 and 440s. None of them could deal with it. The little old XGER 240s did. Excellent. I can't say I think of Great Eastern locos ever needing to deal with hills. Stuck out in a part of the country that's even flatter than we are here. There we go, a clean brush again. So how is everyone doing now? We are at 22:51. We will very shortly be entering the last hour. Why am I putting that away? I want that in a minute, because I'm going to paint the fireman's hair and moustache. That's the word. So yes, very soon entering the last hour of the stream. How is everyone doing? I hope you are all well. Do we still have any projects on the go? Do we have anyone new that's joined us and has projects on the go that wasn't here when I asked earlier? Please do let me know in chat, because I love to hear about them. Exactly, and yet the GR loco is so well designed, you can deal with gradients no problem. B12's working over the woodhead with ease is more proof. Yes, of course. Of course it is. We want this one, not this one. That one can go back. The Claudes had very good road holding capabilities, of course, yes. Of course they did. My car is exactly 25% done. Well, hey, fantastic progress. Gary is much impressed. Looks like I've used a bit too much of this one to squeeze a little bit out the top. If anything, there's more gone back in. Let's clean my fingers off before picking him up. Would you believe I only washed this duster yesterday? People underestimate the GER far too often. It needs more love. Of course. Approve of the GER. I live near its route. That's an excellent reason to approve of the line. That's got its plastic cap back on again. That would be silly. If I ever mentioned I live quite near the Brighton. And there we are. Our little fireman has a moustache and some brown hair now. That's better. He looked a bit off there. I think it's more because his head's at an angle and I was viewing it in comparison to his body. But he looks better now. Mortally, there aren't many GL layouts out there, although lacquer kit's probably a large reason for that. Yes, I believe that you've mentioned that maybe once or twice. Only once or twice, that's good. Before I bought this house, I used to rent a flat near the Brighton lines in South London. Ah. Before I bought this house, I used to rent this house. Prove his moustache, excellent. Huzzah. Does he maybe need sideburns? There are no sideburns modelled on that particular head, which is another reason I portray him with nice, full, darkish brown hair, because he looks quite young. Interesting rent to buy move there. No, I was offered the chance to buy it after having rented it for a few years. Hydration is important. It was not rented with the intention of buying it, but other than the few little issues it's had, it's mostly a good house. Mostly. Oh, and there's the donation link from the bot. I was born in this house, I'll die in Wales, most likely. Oh, excellent. I was not born in this house. I moved into this house when I was 18. I am now not 18. Very not 18. I've never been to Wales, so I can't approve of it. It's me, that's a long time. It is. It is a very long time I have lived here. I've lived here almost as long as I haven't lived here. Never been to Wales. No, I have not. It is very strange, isn't it, that I have not been to Wales? No, I have never been on any of the narrow gauge lines. I'm just thinking. It is possible that the only narrow gauge I have been on is actually more miniature gauge in the form of the Romney Hive and Dymchurch. That is genuinely a possibility. I can't think of any others that I've been on. We are the only family who's ever lived in its house, built in 1953 by my grandparents. Strange thought, not living here. Yes, indeed. Very strange. Likes the Cambrian coast, where it all tramway. You just have to visit the Talyllyn. It's a must. What one day? Need to do some catching up. I do. Visited several of them when I was a nipper in the 80s. It needs to be remedied. Not even the Kew Waterworks Railway. Nope. Isle of Man. Nope. Bye guys, stay safe, nice stream going. Okay. Thank you for coming, J94. See you next time. Has been great having you here. And as Alex says, the Talyllyn. Yeah, but what one day I will take in the delights of all these things. Unfortunately, that day is not today. Have a lot of narrow gauge catching up to do. I do. I think I've only ever been on standard gauge once at St Ives to King's Cross. Car. Not even been to a proper London station. That's not the bag I wanted. This is the one I wanted. No, it's not. That's not what I wanted. What I want to do now is get those handrails in, which is one of these little bags up here. Hang on. Handrails, looking for handrails. There they are. Maybe. That's not enough. We want these ones. Yes, those ones, those are the ones we want. See, I do know what I'm doing sometimes. Please don't make it a habit of thinking I do. Flot and narrow gauge chance to do. Yes, not even the reopened fragment of Linton and Barnstable. Nope. It's an Ives to King's Cross. Indeed, the only proper station is St Pancras. No. Actually, I've done the Nene Valley. I have not. All the London stations are proper stations. The clue is in the name station. Yeah, fair enough. Don't think I've been to that one. Maybe when I was very small. I've not done a lot of real railways. So you have a 009 layout, but you've never travelled on any actual narrow gauge railways. This is daft. Well, if people donate enough money to pay for me to go to Wales and ride on the many railways, then I will, I promise. I don't know how much that costs, but if you start donating now, then we can get this remedied. I actually wanted a cap to put them in. Where are they? I didn't want that one, because that one is full of paint stuff. I think it's the only one I've got right now. There we go. Now we're not going to lose them, he says. Can I have a whip round for a Welsh expedition? Of course, I have a whip round for anything. No one can argue there is no London station with anything even close to the grandeur of the Midland Grand Hotel. To about half of what there is in Ireland, which is very little. Is there much preserved in Ireland? Speaking of heritage railways, I'm off to the NYMR on Tuesday. Oh, very nice. Very nice indeed. Next to none. That is really sad. Let's all have a whip round to open a new preserved line in Ireland for Killian. Why not? Oh God, don't tell me these are going to be all terrible and not very holy. Let's make sure it's not this end that's a bit naff. Okay, that definitely didn't help this end, it's a bit naff still. Wasn't there a 440 that did rail tours in Ireland, a blue one I think. A few 3-foot gauge lines and usually one steam loco each. None 5'3" that I know of, but there's the occasional mainline run. Yes, broad gauge Midland compound, no less. Very nice. Very nice indeed. And the right broad gauge, not that silly one that Brunel did. Okay, so this is going to be really awkward because I can see this one has a decent hole in it and I still can't get my handrail wire through it. This is not optimal. Oh, Alex beat me to it on approving that message. Ireland is splendid. I like Ireland. It's the most Irish place that I've yet visited. They even gave me an Irish passport, which was very kind of them. Oh, that is very kind of them. Very kind indeed. My business partner has one of those and I'm totally not jealous of it. Or a 7-foot gauge greater than 5'3". Oh, it's funny saying things about Brunel and his broad gauge. And the Great Western in general at times. I just want to find one handrail knob that I can get this wire through. It's not that one. I can only see a hole on one side. I do definitely think it's the wire and not the handrail knobs. That's a pain. Broad gauge probably made sense in 1835. Unfortunately, it didn't make much sense by 1845. Because the wrong gauge had been chosen in the first place. Made more sense than narrow gauge from a non-subjective viewpoint. I've heard arguments for and against both. I'll leave that there. Let's see if we can thread a needle with a needle. Yeah, that one's definitely got a hole all the way through it. That one definitely didn't. But, as is a known fact, we do not lose anything on this live stream, so that is still here. But that does not have a hole. Oh, now it does have a hole all the way through. It's not a very big one, but it's there. I'm sure this is doing my sewing needles loads of good. Horse wagon wide gauge for steam locos, utter madness. Remember, there were broad gauge locos working in Wales up to the First World War. Indeed, there was broad gauge surprisingly late, considering it had been outlawed. So it would appear that for the most part these handrail knobs are good, but my wire needs replacing, or at least its end cut in properly. That's fine if I can make sure these are all good. Because it's clearly not a case of I can't thread it. If I can make sure these are all good, I'm happy to use them and then sort the wire out. Split things would have been better if the UK had adopted the Irish gauge, probably. As much as I like the broad gauge, my local company did the OWW fought for ages to avoid broad gauge. GWR forced them into it. That is why we ended up with dual gauge round here. Fair enough. Even Stephen said, I can English, honest. Even Stevenson said that the gauge ought to have been slightly wider. See, if he said it, then it's true. And remember, kids, Hydration is important. The OWW hated GWR, they wanted to work with the Midlands and LNWR, GWR took them to court and won. It's a bit rubbish. Puffin Billy was originally 5 foot gauge. The Eastern Counties Railway not 5 foot also? I don't know. Anyone got the answer to that? Ironically, Ireland originally had 4 foot 8.5, but they made the right decision. OWW equals the old worse and worse according to contemporary backronyms. So my book on railway carriages tell me is anyway. I have heard it called that many times. Don't want to know about early American gauges. Yes, it sadly didn't have the best reputation at the end. One time we had 36 slightly different standard gauges. Just a couple then. Although all these gauges do mean you get to have that great story about that time you changed to one gauge overnight. Which of course never quite happened how the story says. And there was weeks and weeks of planning and preparations beforehand. But the idea that you re-gauge an entire railway overnight and were just running the next morning, it's amazing. The evolution of the railways was a real mess. It was indeed. I expect they weren't called standard gauge at the time. Probably not. So each railway's gauges, yeah. That's what I assumed it was. Right, well that went through. So there we go. All those handrail knobs are good. That is now confirmed as fact. We can all agree that Ireland and mainland UK should have had a common gauge for practical purposes. Yes, indeed, Hillian. Most of the time it was half an inch to a whole foot between gauges. Yeah, it's quite a bit of variation. Of course, there are also practical reasons to not have the same gauge as neighbouring countries. Although obviously in the early days Ireland wasn't a neighbouring country. I actually still want that needle because I'm going to use it to help position these in straight as I stick them. Let's pop the cab out. I've read that. Well, I'm losing myself on chat now. But yes, a good example is Germany and Russia had different gauges. Obviously Russia is to Russian gauge, shockingly. Germany is on standard gauge, and it is actually one of the things that slowed down the German advance in 41. They couldn't bring supplies up the railway line as quickly because they had to bring them up to the interchange point and then load them onto a new train because of the differing gauges. Thanks TTTE, when I was younger I thought all Welsh narrow gauge was the same. You mean it's not? Shocker! I mean, I know it's not, I just want to make that clear. I just wish 2'3" was more common. It would make 009 a lot more realistic. Because of course 009 is scaled properly, 2'3", and there were only 3 railways that used them, and one of them closed reasonably early. What do you mean you won't go in? I know this is the right sized hole. See? Right sized hole. And now you're straight. And that's what we're using. The pin for is the needle for is we can tell when it's straight because of the needle stuck through it. US and UK is a similar thing, a quick change of a large mileage non-standard gauge railway. Yeah, but did it happen overnight, James? My chat's just backed up loads and sent through a load of messages. Snail Beach and Glyn Valley were only 1/4 of an inch apart, so could swap locos. Slight early American locomotives had huge tyres to help them change gauges, running slightly smaller or large gauges. 009 is as close to 2 foot or 2.6 as 00 is the standard, so I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, that's true. In fact, I'm using 009 to represent 2'8". Yeah, I decided that I was going to represent a 2'3" line because reasons. I mean, because it actually is. But yes, you are right about it being no worse than 00. There we go, that's that one lined up. Honestly, one about model trains being exactly right for the track, it's just an unnecessary headache as far as I'm concerned. It's close enough. I agree, that's why I don't model in P4. I'd like people to believe I do, but it's just not happening. But if I can have layouts that look good enough that people can think they're fine scale, that I will do. Don't drop the pin. Right, just 3 more to go on this side then. And that is the handrails handrail knobs in place, not the handrails themselves, obviously. Weird to think this, but next week we're going to be in a position to start the transfers on this. People worry about it, but I'll be here playing with trains. Indeed, Alex. I'll admit that my one visit to a rail museum, couldn't believe how thick the tyres on the engines were, at least 3 inches deep. Ah, so 00 size wheels then. Excellent. Social aspect of being able to visit someone else's layout far outweighs the fine scale of P4 to me. I agree, Killian. It's a very good point you make. Huzzah for transfers, yes. It'll really start coming together then. I've got a brand new sheet of them as well that I got from Ian just for this project. Well, not just for this project, but I got them so that we could do this one. You know what I mean. It's fine, I'm not going to play with that, I'll just end up making it worse. But yeah, I do think this has been an exceptionally quick build and I'm very happy with how it's gone. There we go. So glad my 1830s logos don't have handrails. I have neither eyesight, hand coordination or patience to do this. Yeah. I think eyesight is definitely the thing holding me up the most on doing these. He says as he drops one. Nothing has ever been lost on stream. I'm determined that will not change. Even things we thought were lost. That will not change. But yes, it has been an awesome build. 3 hours on the build stream, 3 hours on the painting stream, and now 3 hours on the detailing stream. Ow, that needle went into my finger. Gary does not recommend needles going in your fingers. Oh, for goodness sake. This one really does not want to stay with the tweezers, does it? Look, handrail, this is your forever home. There we go. See, not so hard, was it? Now the needle can go away. Indeed, should be Victoria is looking great. Hayward's Heath is looking fantastic, you're right. I'm just going to point out, Victoria does get a mention in the instructions. Was Hayward's Heath a war hero? I think not. No. No, it was not. But it was the town in which I bought this kit. Damn right she should get a mention. Indeed. Is there any discussion on D3s that doesn't mention Victoria? Depends on if Alex is there, really, doesn't it? And so yes, there we go. Handrail knobs are fitted. I think it's time to fit the crew in the cab. And then fit the cab to the body. I mean, well, not quite yet. I think we'll put some coal in the cab. Couple of lumps on the floor and one on the fireman's shovel. Before fitting it to the cab. I literally use this to stop that happening. Why am I letting that happen? Be like a discussion on terriers that doesn't mention Stepney. I've had many of them. Many. Victoria's what I've been thinking since you started doing the D3. I can't say I blame you. Discussion on A3s that doesn't mention. I can't even finish that sentence. Oh yeah, trying to think of another one. Great Northern was a very important loco. You're quite right, Alex. There's no way you cannot mention that loco. What's an A3? Sounds like a post-grouping thing to me. Does, doesn't it? What you want is an A1. Can't mention them without mentioning Stepney though. Pyrus hit 101. I think a lot of them actually did unofficially. LB&SCR much greater than GNR-A1, indeed. Favourite A3 is Papyrus' first fully authenticated 100-mile-an-hour run. Nah, Truro was the first 100-mile-an-hour loco. Let's get some nice big lumps of coal. Make the fireman earn his keep. You are a small bit of plastic that I have cut a window out of at some point. Get out of my coal pot. There we go, some nice lumps of coal. Hardwick did 96, no, authenticated. Truro lightly did, but it wasn't official. Pyrus' official paperwork. Funny to think Pyrus Massive Pacific is 5 miles an hour than a 240. Yeah. Honestly have no idea why there isn't a Gresley A2 class. Because reasons. Because the Raven A2 still existed. That too. That's a slightly better reason than just saying because reasons. But it's not as fun. Right, so we're going to drop a bit of super glue onto the fireman's shovel. Eventually I will get the shovel and not his hand. There we go. And then we're going to drop a bit of coal onto his shovel. Thought that might be the case. Gresley designed the A1s, Raven designed the A2s. Raven designed the A2s to beat them, but they never did. Well, they should have tried harder then, shouldn't they? Apply a bit of super glue at the back of the cab there. Drop a couple of lumps of coal in it. Sadly, Raven was really old at the time and well past when he should have retired. Didn't realise Raven was a future millennial. Working well past when he should have retired. Drop one more blob of glue there and stick that last bit of coal in it. And now we have a decent little pile of coal at the back of the tender cab, looking like it's coming out the bunker. Move those to the side, grab that. There we go, some focus. Shame about the lighting. I did say it was a stream about details, didn't I? A sad end to a not bad career at the NER. Indeed, while they weren't as good as hoped, they looked awesomely powerful. I really liked them. Excellent, wonderful. Thank you, peoples. It is very much appreciated. Yes, this red cable has come off of here. So what I think we should do is stick the soldering iron on and reattach it. After we remember, because otherwise I will forget. Give me a little bit more off than that. There we go. Iron's really heated up now. Loose wires, what is this? The new Hornby rocket? No, this didn't come with loose wires, I broke them. Let's remember to remove the lid. We don't want a repeat of that time. I forgot to remove the lid from there and just stabbed my soldering iron through it. D3 body is one of the better things one can do for an M7 chassis. I quite agree. There are others who wouldn't, but I agree. Okay, it's attached. That was more effort than I wanted it to be. We're also going to put a bit more of this heat shrink over this heat shrink because I shrunk it a bit too much. I've used my scissors for something today and not put them back. What with loose wires and DCC chips that melt the water barrel, it's not been the best time for what is a stunning little model. No, it's a bit like how the Rails Terrier has gone, it's full of issues. I wouldn't put it down to you, I remember mine coming off. Thank you, Harry, and good evening, how are you? But this was definitely me, is when I've forced the body down on it once. Or twice. That is too high, let's see if we can... There we go. I knew I could. That i3 is looking great in the background. Thank you, Killian. That is the one we did on stream. And I am so very happy with it. There we go. We won't shrink that one quite as much as we shrunk the first one. And now the bogey won't fall out. Why did the i3 have a raised middle with the cab roof? Seems a bit extreme compared to just putting a sliding vent. The Brighton put clerestory roofs on a lot of cabs. Probably to do with the very generous loading gauge they had, so they could. And therefore did. Because it does the same job as the vent, doesn't it? Evening, I'm good. I think I still have my broken M7. Watching this is tempting. Oh, do it, Harry. Do it, Harry. You've seen how easy this one goes together. It's not like his J that we're trying not to remember. Not to mention too much. Fair enough. IG may be my favourite LB&SCR livery, but Umber is gorgeous also. Yeah, Umber is a very, very smart livery. Well, you know I have an Umber laptop. Not the one I'm using, but I do also have a laptop painted in Brighton Umber. There we go. Look, there's the crew in the cab. I've got nothing left to do to that part other than apply a bit of paint round here. I suppose I should really, shouldn't I? Do prefer IG, in fact I'm not actually a fan of Umber. Fair enough. You don't have to be sorry for not being a fan of Umber. In fact, yeah, let's do that. Let's paint the inside of this black. As Linny mentioned earlier, it is important to get better looking colours. I have a Craven green car with an IEG interior. If I was going to paint a vehicle such as my van's the key example. If I was going to paint my van any livery, it would be Umber. I think it would suit it better than IEG. But yeah, painting this will mean that anything doesn't show as being a big piece of white chocolate when you see it. So Linny is right, it is a good idea to do it. Other than obviously the top half of the cab that we have already painted cream because we want it to be cream. Didn't know, did J Glass had looked, it looks alright. What's your professional opinion? This kit is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, this one. That is my professional opinion. I know some of his others have issues. This one is amazing as far as kits go. Although the Flash could save the universe, there's so much of it. Several universes, quite possibly. Yes, shape of the vehicle logo does dictate what livery would suit it best. Indeed it does. You paint the van number, but my vote would for the bus would still be NSE. It has historical precedent. Don't care about historical precedent. I have no plans for repainting the bus. It has my bus has historical precedent of being in its lovely Dublin corporation blue and yellow that it's in at the minute, and it's staying like that. Boom. Never actually knew what Dublin bus livery looked like before seeing your bus. Excellent. That's what it looked like in '98, because that's when my bus came over to the UK, was '98. Alright, know where my spare change is going next. Excellent. Should definitely do it, Harry. This one has been a great build. The fact it includes the floor and the back of the cab, and you can get the M7 gear in there with not much chopping, really does make it make detailing it quite easy. So yes, this is a kit I do recommend. Especially if you're trashing the M7 that you get the chassis from, so that you can steal its cab detail. Hi Gary, any updates on your wrist at all? My wrist is fine now, Max. And hello, how are you this evening? You missed me using the hand drill with said wrist earlier, and I managed that okay. And there we go, that'll keep all that hidden. Of course we want to do the same to this. So we just give it a coat of black, and then anything you see underneath the logo just looks black. You've seen how well painting stuff black to hide it works on my carriage interiors. It does the same underneath a logo. The Austin won't be staying Craven livery, alas. It's going back. Alright. It's going back to teal. Ah, fair enough. I bet that'll look nice in teal. You know, you can leave M7s as M7s. No you can't. You can scrap M7s and replace them with D3s. Okay, good to know. I'm fine. You can watch the replay later. Okay, excellent. That will be very good. So I've had a very nice stream. I hope everyone else has, and I hope you enjoy watching the replay, Max. Why leave it when you can have a war hero? Yeah, well said, Killian. Should be a war film called Stroudley's Heroes. There should. Yes, we should make this film. Donate now towards the making of Stroudley's Heroes. Your donations will go towards hiring a script writer who must first come up with the ideas for the films and then write the script around them. What will I be doing, you ask? Taking a 10% cut, obviously. And that is all the bits of that done. Okay, I made a search for anyone else modelling Victoria, but nothing else. Anyone else want the job of mod? I quit. No, you can't quit. That wasn't part of the agreement. Sorry. It's all looking really good. Yeah, I'm going to head off to bed. Stay safe, everyone. Okay, thank you for coming, Simon. Has been great to have you here, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Good night. Oh, that was bad. It's not the paint this time, it's the blooming white spirit. At 5 to midnight. Donald Sutherland 3D ones give you very nice edge. What is Carter? Stroudley as in the Terriers or just the engines he designed? Yes, both. Go on, there's a command for this moment. Use it, guys. There we go, paint spill. Oh no, he's done it again. Was it the SECR carriages? You know what? They were sat next to me and their wheels are now covered in white spirit. So there's that. Let's get the brush cleaned and then I'll clean up. Stinks in here now. Gosh darn it. Right, brush clean. I hate the smell of white spirit. Spirit spill, blue tack. Oh, I'm glad I have such amusing viewers. Looking at the BT here, need to get cracking on it. Well, you don't have to say about that, don't you, Killian? Get on with it. A saying that only became a saying because of Luke. Go. That's on. Still absolutely stinks. Let's get this slot out the way, because when we finish the stream in a minute, I'm going to have to clean the workbench. Because it stinks. Also, because I want to make sure there's nothing running under these locos. Punch the camera. Carl, we're on good form now, aren't we? Do hate when white spirits smell, bathing all the 3D prints in them as you feel yourself halfway pulled into the 5th dimension. Yeah. It is one of those things, isn't it? Right, that's okay. At the back there, it's just under the glass. I can deal with that. That's fine. No idea why that message was held for review. YouTube makes no sense. YouTube does indeed make no sense, but at least I have you here to get those things for me. My Q class still looks like a chocolate engine. Well, I mean, this looks like a chocolate engine now. It's just not white chocolate anymore. It's milk chocolate and brown and dark chocolate. Brown is not the word I wanted. Very nice ring, Gary. So happy I could join for the last little bit. Thank you, Max. It has been good to have you join us for the last little bit. It is definitely appreciated. Now, where's that box? Where are you, box? There you are. Where's the blue tack? There it is. And there we have a D3 looking very much like a D3. Good job I'm here. Shame that I quit. I have an M7 insult clause. No one insulted the M7s. I just said that it's fine to scrap them. Engine's looking good, looking magnificent, very nice. Good night, Gary, sleep well. And she looks great. So yes, thank you everyone. We have just passed over to midnight. I do wish she was focusing a little better, but actually I think she's alright. I think it's just my TV that's looking a bit rubbish. But I am very happy with it. Beautiful D3 mode. I do like a good M7, but I also like a good D3. Well, yeah, I mean, I do also have an M7 that is staying as an M7. And I'm pretty sure Alex knows I have an M7 that is staying as an M7. Thank you very much for streaming. That's okay. So yes, thank you for making it to the end of the stream, everyone. It is really appreciated. It has been great to have you all here. Next week we're going to have to start moving on to the lining and the transfers, and she's absolutely fantastic, isn't she? Actually didn't. Oh, did you not? I thought you knew I had an M7 as well. Yeah, I've got an M7. And it's very much staying as an M7. It's one of the first locos that I got when I re-entered the hobby. It was amongst the first 6 or 7 I got. And well, you know, I have more terriers than that now. So yes, thank you for coming everyone. It has been absolutely wonderful to have you here. We have a layout update coming for you on Tuesday for Birch Hill. So you've got that to look forward to. I've got some editing to do to get it done. But it should be good fun. It's got some running at the end of it. That was great fun to film. Please do appreciate that. So if you haven't already, please do smash that like button. Unless you've absolutely hated the stream. In which case, smash the dislike button. And let me know why you hated the stream. Come back for Tuesday for the video on Birch Hill. You can have another look at this wonderful logo on Thursday if you want. And then I look forward to seeing you back here next Sunday night for the continuation where we'll start the lining. But for now, all that's left for me to say is thank you for coming, everyone. Bye for now.